In this video, we're going to be discussing sharing your Google documents, commenting and editing on them, and collaborating with others on specific documents. So right now I am in a Google Doc, and the first way I'm going to show you how to share a Google Doc is actually with a link. So there are a few places from which you can share a Google Doc. And the first is just going to File. And if you click File and then Share, a screen will pop up prompting you to share the document. You can do the very same thing by clicking on this blue box up in the right-hand corner. And if you notice, right now this blue box has a lock on it, and that means that this document is private only to me, so I'm the only one that is able to see the document. If I click Share, I'm going to have the option of sharing this document with others via a link. Now, every document that you create in Google Docs is assigned a shareable link, and the same goes for Google Forms, Google Spreadsheets, and anything that you create in Google. So I'm just going to click here where it says Get Shareable Link. Now, anyone who I give this link to can view my document, and I can very simply copy the link, and Google will copy that link to my clipboard. Now, just one thing I want to point out, the link that is generated by Google is different than the link that you will see up at the top here. It is different. So don't think that you can just create the document and then copy and paste the link from above and embed it somewhere else. You're going to have to use the link that is generated here, the shareable link that comes within this pop-up box. So you can't use this link, you have to use this link. Now, the link seems very long with a lot of letters. And that's fine if you're going to embed that link somewhere, like on a website or actually in a presentation of some sort. But there might be a time when you want to actually give the link or write it up on the board for your students. And there's actually a way to shorten this link, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So my URL has been copied to the clipboard, or I can just right-click and copy it, same thing. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this to a goo.gl. So this is a tool that Google offers. It's called a goo.gl. It's a Google URL shortener. So what you need to do is just type the URL goo.gl up into your browser, and then paste the long URL that was generated in your Google Doc right here. And then just click Shorten URL. Now, Google has shortened this URL for me, and I just need to press Control-C to copy it. So now I've copied it, and I can paste that anywhere I would like. I can write it up on the board, and it's much easier for students to be able to type goo.gl/33C8BS into a browser and find my document rather than typing in that big long URL that Google generated for me initially. So that's just a little trick I like to use to shorten the URLs that are generated by Google. So when I click Done, that's going to mean that anyone I give that link to will be able to access the document. Now, if I look up at my sharing button here, it is telling me that anyone with the link is able to access my document. There is no sign-in required either. So if I give this link to someone, they're going to be able to get into my document. The permissions that they have on the document are view only. So they'll be able to look at the document, but they will not be able to make changes. If I want anyone with the link to be able to do more than view, I can click this down arrow and I can give anyone with the link privileges to edit by clicking here, or I can give anyone with the link privileges to comment on my document. So if the person has an ability to edit, that means they'll be able to go in and actually change things within my document and work on my document. If I give them the ability to comment, they'll only be able to make comments along the side of the document. They will not be able to change any of the text or anything within the document. And then right now, as we said before, anyone with the link can just view this document. And then I can turn it off. So now I'm changing my privileges back to private. So now the link is now unavailable. And if I click done, I'll see that if I go back up to my share button, that it's private again. The next way to share your document is via names or email addresses. And here's the spot to do that right here. So I can either enter individuals' names or their email addresses based on my Gmail address book. So I can add an email if I know it, or I can start typing a name. Or I can actually add entire groups. And a little later in the course, we're actually going to figure out how to do this using Gmail. But you can create a contact group in Gmail and you can actually just share with that entire group using the name of that group. So if I typed in MassQ Fall 2014 and clicked on that, it would automatically add all of the members of my MassQ Fall 2014 group within Gmail right into my share box right here. So that's extremely helpful because if you in Gmail create your own contact list and you create a group within that contact list that represents your class and has all student emails within that class, it's very easy to just type in that group name and then share the document with your entire class. Now, the way we are sharing is via email notification right now. So anyone that you share with is going to receive an email notification, and if their email is linked to a Drive account, they're actually going to get a notification, and the document will be, since it's shared via email, it will be located in their incoming box in Drive. So if you share this, and the email address that you share it to is linked to Drive, the person that you share it with will receive an email notification, and when they click on incoming, they will see your document here, and they will have the option to either download it or add it to their Drive. So when we go back to our sharing box here in our document, right now we can actually change the privileges that the people that we are sharing with will have with the document. Right now, everyone that I've shared with can edit. I can change that simply by clicking here, so now they can only comment, or I can make it view only. So anyone who has the document or receives the document can only view it. They can't make changes to it. I can add a note. Here is the writing prompt. It is due tomorrow. And along with the email notification, which is checked off right here, the individuals who receive that email will also see this message. If I click Advanced, it's basically going to expand the page and allow me to see the link, share via social media and Gmail, or change the permissions and invite people this way. I can also have the option to send a copy to myself or paste the item itself into the email. So that is a way to share your document via email addresses and names. The next way we're going to share a Google Doc is actually sharing through student folders. And the reason why I like this method of sharing is because it eliminates the whole photocopying and handing out of paper. You can actually share an assignment through Google without exchanging a single paper. Now, I do have a cautionary word here. When you share an assignment the way that I'm about to show you, students will receive it in each of their folders. However, they will be able to make changes to the assignment. So this is good if you are sending out an assignment such as this writing prompt here. If you keep a master copy and changes are made, you'll definitely be able to track who made the changes. But what I would do is just mention to students that they're not to go in and make any changes to the document, and I think that that would be enough. But this is just a way to share an assignment. Students aren't actually going to work in the document. They're going to print off the assignment and work on it elsewhere, or they're just going to refer back to their drive. Another way you can share a Google Doc via student folders is if you actually do want students to collaborate on a document together, and I'm going to show you that in a moment. So I actually want to just make a master copy just in case. So to do that, I'm going to go to File, go to Make a Copy, and I'm going to just change the name here to Writing Prompt Women in the Revolution Master. And what this will do is just make sure that I have a master copy of the assignment just in case any student were to go in and make a change to it. So I have my master copy, and I'm just going to close that because I don't need it. And now I'm back to my writing prompt, and what I want to do is just select File, Move to Folder. And I'm going to just select the folders that I want that document to go into. So to do that, what I'm seeing is just all of the folders on my drive. And I can just hover next to a folder and put a check mark there. And then if I press Control, I can select more than one folder. So now what will happen is that writing prompt will be shared or moved to these 3 student folders. And if I click Move, they will show up there. So I just warn you again that this assignment has been moved. However, when students open up that writing prompt inside their folder and make changes to it, it's going to make changes to the actual document as well. So what if I want to share something that I want students to actually work on together? So what I'm going to do is actually show you this right now. So I have a Google Docs Top Tips assignment, which is a collaborative document, and I want a bunch of people to be working on it simultaneously or a little bit at a time. So I'm going to do the same method here. I'm going to go to File. I'm going to make a copy because remember, the copy that I created is not going to be the master anymore. It's going to have changes made to it. So if I ever want to use this again, I will have a master copy. So I'm going to make myself a master just by making a copy and click OK. And now I'm back in my original document, and I'm going to go to File again, Move to Folder. And I'm going to be sharing it with you. So I just click the down arrow here. And I click next to each folder and then click Control all the way down. and then I click Move. So now this assignment will be essentially shared to all of those folders. So when those students go to open their folders, the assignment will be in there and they can work on it. Now remember, when they work on it, all of the changes that they make, their classmates will be able to see. But that's the purpose of this document, because it is a collaborative document. Now, what if I want to share a document with all of my students? I don't want them to make changes to the original document or collaborate on a document. What I want them to do is actually work on the document themselves individually, like a worksheet or a quiz, and then submit it back to me. So essentially it would be like photocopying something, a worksheet of sorts, passing it out to your class, having them fill in the blanks, and hand it back to you for correcting. Well, we're going to actually do that in Drive without exchanging any paper. And there are a few steps to it, and it might take your students a few times to go through it, but once they get the hang of doing it, it is really very simple. So what you want to do is just first create a shared folder on your Drive for your class. And I'm going to click on that folder, and I'm going to share it. There's nothing in the folder as of yet, but now I'm going to share that folder with my students. What I want to make sure that I do, since I'm going to be putting assignments in this folder that I don't want my students to be able to change, because remember, whatever the document is, the students, if students go into that document and make changes, all the other students that the document is shared with, they will be able to see the changes as well. So I'm going to change the privileges on the entire folder to view only. So anyone who is able to access this folder will only be able to read the documents inside of it. So what you can do is you can actually create documents inside the folder by clicking New, then clicking whatever document you want, and it's warning you that you're creating it in a shared folder, so whatever you create is going to be able to be viewed by the individuals or students that you've shared it with. But once you create this document inside the folder, it will be shared with them, but it will be viewed only. So you can actually create your document in the folder, and it will be there for your students to access. Another way to do it is to actually go to the assignment. Now I've created an assignment already that I'm going to share, and this is a scavenger hunt. And I'm going to move it to that folder that I just created for all of my students. And I'm going to select that shared folder and click Move. Now when I go back to my Drive and actually click on that shared folder, so you will, inside the folder, you'll be able to see that that document that I shared is inside the shared folder. So if I'm a student opening that document, I'm not going to be able to do anything but view it. But what I want to do is I want to actually click File, make a copy, and as the student, I'm going to change the name of my document to Google Docs Scavenger Hunt and my name. Now with the copy, I will be able to make changes to it, and I will be able to do the actual assignment that my teacher has provided to me. But then how do I get it back to my teacher? I can go in and do this assignment, and then when I'm done with the assignment, I just have to go back up to File, and move this document into the document that I share with my teacher. So this document that I now made changes to and worked on, this worksheet, I can now put into the folder that is my student folder that my teacher can now view. One of the biggest benefits of sharing is not only saving paper, it's the ability to comment on student work and actually use the Google Doc as a medium to communicate and share feedback and also receive comments from your students. So this is an example of a document that actually comments were made on. And all of these individual students were asked to read the case study and make comments on it. So they had permission to view and comment on the case study. So with each comment, if I'm going to make a comment, I just go up to comments and click the comments button. It will show me all of the comments that have been made within the document. I can either reply to a comment that's already been made directly, or I can comment myself, which is what I'm going to do. Now my comment has been added to the document. And just a couple of things to point out. First of all, each comment is time-stamped, and each person who is commenting receives a color, and mine is green. So now anytime you see green in the document, you're going to know that it's my comment because my color is green. So another thing that I can do within the document is actually highlight text, click on comment, and enter a comment related directly to the text. So now, when I make my comment, and I click on it, my little bubble is called out here so that I know that I'm the person that made that comment. And if I click on this highlighted sentence, I can see that this person here was the person who made the comment. The other feature of collaboration within Google Docs is the chat feature. And once you've shared a document with a student, what will happen is you will see all of the people that you have shared the document with in little icons up here. And you can actually click the chat to start a group chat. So the ability to comment on Google Docs is very valuable between students and teachers. And it's also can be helpful to have students working with other students and collaborating and leaving comments and editing each other's work. So the sharing and collaborating and commenting features are one of the most unique and convenient features of Google Docs.